The connection between the brain and sex is a deeply complex and multifaceted subject that intertwines aspects of biology, psychology, and neurochemistry. The human brain, as the central organ in regulating the body's functions, plays an essential role in sexual behavior, pleasure, arousal, and reproduction. This connection begins with the brain's ability to process sensory inputs that are associated with sexual stimuli and transforms these signals into emotional and physiological responses. The brain's role in sexual function begins in the areas that are responsible for sensation and arousal, particularly in the hypothalamus, amygdala, and prefrontal cortex. The hypothalamus is responsible for regulating hormones that influence sexual desire, such as oxytocin and dopamine. These hormones, often referred to as feel-good chemicals, promote feelings of pleasure, attraction, and bonding. Dopamine, in particular, is associated with reward and motivation, while oxytocin fosters emotional connection and intimacy. The amygdala is crucial for processing emotions and can affect how one perceives sexual stimuli, influencing whether it feels pleasurable or threatening. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex plays a significant role in decision-making, self-regulation, and inhibiting or enhancing sexual behavior based on social and cultural factors. Sexual arousal, an essential component of the sexual experience, is intricately tied to brain activity. It is both a physical and psychological process, where the brain interprets external stimuli and triggers physical changes in the body, such as increased heart rate, blood flow, and the release of certain neurotransmitters. These changes facilitate an increased sense of pleasure, reinforcing the motivation for sexual activity. The brain's reward system, which includes the nucleus accumbens and ventral tegmental area, becomes activated during sexual arousal. These areas are associated with feelings of pleasure and reward, which explains the euphoric feelings often experienced during sex. The limbic system, which controls emotions and memory, also plays a significant role in sexual experiences. The connection between emotions and sex is not simply a matter of physical arousal, but involves emotional bonding and attachment. For example, intimate sexual experiences often lead to the release of oxytocin, which strengthens emotional connections and promotes feelings of trust and attachment between individuals. This release of oxytocin is why sexual relationships often contribute to the development of romantic bonds and closeness between partners. The relationship between the brain and sex is not limited to pleasure and bonding. It also plays a vital role in the regulation of sexual behaviors and desires. This regulation is influenced by various factors, such as age, hormonal fluctuations, mental health, and external stresses. For instance, research has shown that a decline in sex hormones like testosterone or estrogen, particularly as individuals age, can result in a decrease in sexual desire and changes in sexual functioning. Psychological factors such as stress, depression, anxiety, or past trauma can also affect the brain's response to sexual stimuli, leading to issues such as low libido, erectile dysfunction, or difficulty reaching orgasm. In addition to its impact on sexual desire, the brain also influences sexual orientation and preferences. These aspects of sexuality are likely influenced by a combination of genetic, hormonal, and environmental factors that shape the brain's responses to sexual stimuli over time. Research into the neuroscience of sexual orientation is ongoing, with studies suggesting that specific brain structures may be associated with differences in sexual preference. However, the full extent of the brain's role in determining sexual orientation remains an area of scientific exploration. Neurological disorders or injuries that affect the brain can also profoundly impact sexual functioning. Damage to specific brain regions, such as the spinal cord or brainstem, may disrupt the communication between the brain and body, leading to issues such as loss of libido, erectile dysfunction, or difficulty with orgasm. Additionally, neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's disease and multiple sclerosis can affect the brain's ability to process sexual stimuli and regulate sexual behaviors. The connection between the brain and sex is not only crucial for understanding sexual functioning and pleasure, but also plays an essential role in reproductive health. The brain's regulation of the endocrine system ensures that the body produces the necessary hormones for reproduction. This includes a regulation of the menstrual cycle, ovulation, and sperm production, all of which are influenced by signals from the brain. The hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis is a key pathway in this process, linking the brain with the reproductive organs and ensuring the proper functioning of the reproductive system. In conclusion, the connection between the brain and sex is both profound and multifaceted. The brain not only regulates sexual desire, arousal, and behavior, but also influences emotional attachment, pleasure, and the formation of romantic bonds. Factors such as hormones, psychological health, and neurological conditions can alter the brain's response to sexual stimuli, affecting sexual functioning. Understanding this complex relationship is essential for addressing sexual health and well-being, as it highlights the interplay between the mind, body, and brain in shaping human sexuality. Furthermore, the influence of the brain on sexual function extends beyond the physiological and psychological realms into the realm of perception and cultural conditioning. How individuals perceive and react to sexual stimuli is often influenced by their experiences, societal norms, and personal beliefs. The brain processes not only the physical sensations related to sex, but also the thoughts, emotions, and cultural factors surrounding these experiences. This can have a profound impact on sexual identity, fantasies, and the overall approach to intimacy. For example, the brain's ability to form memories plays a significant role in shaping sexual experiences over time. Past experiences, whether positive or negative, can influence how individuals react to future sexual encounters. Positive sexual experiences can foster a sense of confidence and pleasure, while negative experiences, such as trauma or abuse, can lead to complications like sexual anxiety or avoidance. The brain's ability to store and retrieve these memories helps to shape future sexual behaviors and attitudes. The role of the brain in sexual response is also pivotal in understanding the dynamics of sexual dysfunction. Many sexual dysfunctions, such as premature ejaculation, anorgasmia, or erectile dysfunction, can have underlying psychological causes rooted in the brain. Stress, anxiety, depression, and other emotional factors often disrupt the brain's normal processing of sexual stimuli, interfering with arousal and satisfaction. These psychological factors can, in turn, manifest as physical symptoms, creating a cycle that can be difficult to break. Psychological counseling, behavioral therapies, and sometimes medication can help address the mental health aspects that contribute to these dysfunctions, demonstrating the significant interplay between the brain and sexual well-being. Additionally, neurochemicals like serotonin, which regulate mood, play a part in sexual behavior. Low levels of serotonin, for example, have been linked to lower libido and an increased likelihood of experiencing sexual dysfunction. On the other hand, high levels of serotonin, often influenced by certain antidepressant medications, can sometimes inhibit sexual desire and function. This delicate balance between neurochemicals is essential for healthy sexual responses, and imbalances can lead to disturbances in sexual health. The brain's involvement in sexual arousal is not limited to the mental processing of stimuli. The physical changes that accompany arousal, such as vasodilation and increased blood flow to the genitals, are partly governed by signals from the brain. The autonomic nervous system, which is responsible for involuntary bodily functions like heart rate and digestion, also controls sexual arousal. When the brain perceives sexual stimuli, it sends signals to the autonomic nervous system to initiate the physical changes that occur during arousal. This connection between mind and body emphasizes the integrated nature of sexual function. In recent years, research into sexual neuroscience has expanded, revealing more about the ways in which brain structure and function are linked to sexual identity and behavior. Functional imaging techniques, like fMRI, have provided insights into the brain areas activated during sexual arousal, providing a better understanding of how different regions of the brain work together to create the complex experience of sex. These studies have shown that areas associated with pleasure, motivation, and reward, such as the ventral striatum and orbitofrontal cortex, are activated during sexual arousal and orgasm, underlining the role of the brain's reward systems in sexual pleasure. Interestingly, the connection between the brain and sex is not a one-way relationship. Sexual activity itself can influence brain function. Research has shown that regular sexual activity can have positive effects on brain health, such as improved mood, reduced stress levels, and better cognitive function. Sexual activity has been linked to the release of various neurochemicals, such as endorphins and dopamine, which promote feelings of happiness and satisfaction. Additionally, oxytocin released during orgasm strengthens social bonding and emotional attachment. These neurochemical responses not only enhance the immediate sexual experience, but also contribute to the overall well-being of an individual. From a developmental perspective, The brain's influence on sexual behavior begins in early adolescence, as hormonal changes trigger the onset of puberty. This period is marked by significant changes in brain development, particularly in areas that are involved in emotional processing, decision-making, and social interactions. As the brain matures, so does sexual identity, attraction, and expression. The integration of sexual behavior with emotional and social factors continues to evolve throughout life, with the brain adapting to new experiences and relationships. Throughout adulthood, the brain's role in regulating sexual health remains significant, and it continues to be shaped by various internal and external factors. Stress, trauma, and relationship dynamics can impact sexual function, while healthy relationships and mental well-being can support a more positive sexual experience. The brain's plasticity, its ability to adapt and change over time, ensures that sexual experiences and responses can evolve, reflecting the continuous interaction between biology, psychology, and culture. In conclusion, the connection between the brain and sex is a profound and intricate one, encompassing an array of physiological, emotional, and cognitive processes. The brain not only controls the basic functions of sexual arousal and pleasure, but also shapes our attitudes, desires, and behaviors around sexuality. Understanding this connection is crucial for addressing sexual health and challenges, as it highlights how deeply intertwined the mind, body, and experiences are in shaping human sexuality. The brain's influence on sex continues to be an area of research that promises new insights into how we experience, understand, and engage in sexual behavior. The ongoing exploration of the brain's role in sexual function continues to expand our understanding of human sexuality, revealing not only how the brain governs sexual response, but also how it adapts to changes in physical and emotional states. With advancements in neuroscience, researchers have begun to explore more deeply the impact of environmental factors, such as societal expectations, stress, and trauma, on sexual behavior. These factors often influence the brain's neurochemical responses and how individuals experience sexual pleasure, attraction, and intimacy. For instance, individuals who have experienced trauma may develop altered neural pathways that affect their responses to sexual stimuli, often leading to challenges like sexual dysfunction or altered perceptions of intimacy. Understanding these influences can be pivotal in developing therapeutic strategies for individuals dealing with these difficulties. One particularly fascinating area of research is the role of the brain's neuroplasticity in sexual functioning. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. As individuals go through different life stages, their sexual desires and responses may evolve based on their experiences and changing neurological conditions. For example, a person's sexual preferences might change over time due to shifts in brain function brought about by factors such as age, hormone levels, or changes in emotional and psychological well-being. Additionally, individuals recovering from sexual trauma or dysfunction may experience improvements in sexual health by actively engaging in therapies designed to encourage the brain's ability to form new, healthier neural pathways. The effect of aging on the brain's role in sexual function is also an important area of study. As people age, there are significant changes in both the brain and sexual function. Research has shown that while sexual desire and frequency may decrease in older individuals, this is not solely due to physical aging but also to changes in brain function. The brain's production of sex hormones like estrogen and testosterone decreases over time, and the ability to process sexual stimuli may also diminish. However, many individuals in their later years continue to enjoy fulfilling sexual relationships, and studies indicate that healthy brain function, including maintaining cognitive health, is a critical factor in sustaining sexual desire and satisfaction into old age. The impact of mental health on sexual function is another crucial aspect of the brain connection to sex. Conditions such as depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders can interfere with sexual desire, performance, and satisfaction. The brain's role in regulating emotions, motivation, and stress responses can often be disrupted in individuals suffering from these conditions. For example, the release of stress hormones like cortisol can inhibit sexual arousal, while low levels of serotonin can dampen sexual desire. Treatment for sexual dysfunction often requires addressing the underlying mental health issues, emphasizing the importance of a holistic approach that considers both the neurological and psychological factors that impact sexual health. Additionally, The brain's influence on sexual identity and orientation remains a fascinating and evolving field of study. While the origins of sexual orientation are still not fully understood, research has suggested that various factors, including genetics, hormonal influences during prenatal development, and brain structure and function, may contribute to an individual's sexual preferences. Studies have shown that certain areas of the brain may exhibit differences in individuals with different sexual orientations, though the findings are still preliminary. Understanding the biological underpinnings of sexual orientation and identity is essential for reducing stigma and promoting acceptance of diverse sexual expressions. Another key area of interest is the concept of sexual fantasies, which are shaped by the brain's ability to generate vivid mental imagery and desires. These fantasies can play a significant role in sexual arousal and satisfaction, often influencing real-life sexual experiences. Neuroscientific research suggests that the same brain regions activated during sexual activity are also engaged when individuals imagine or fantasize about sexual scenarios. Fantasies can serve as a safe space for exploring desires and can enhance sexual pleasure when used consensually in a relationship. The brain's capacity for imagination and its processing of sexual fantasies highlight the connection between mental and physical sexual experiences. The advent of neurotechnology and brain imaging has opened new possibilities for studying the brain's connection to sexual experiences. Techniques like functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, and electroencephalography, EEG, allow scientists to observe which areas of the brain become active during sexual arousal or orgasm. These tools have revealed intricate patterns of brain activity that show how different regions cooperate to produce sexual pleasure, demonstrating complexity of the sexual response. Such findings offer not only insights into how we experience sex, but also pave the way for the development of new treatments for sexual dysfunction or disorders. For individuals with neurological disorders or injuries that affect sexual function, understanding the brain's role becomes crucial in both diagnosis and treatment. For instance, spinal cord injuries can disrupt the signals between the brain and the reproductive organs, leading to issues with sexual arousal and performance. Similarly, conditions like multiple sclerosis or Parkinson's disease can alter the brain's ability to process sexual stimuli and control the autonomic nervous system's response. Medical interventions that focus on stimulating the brain or restoring neural pathways are increasingly being explored as potential treatments for sexual dysfunction caused by neurological conditions. Finally, it is important to consider how societal and cultural perceptions of sex influence how the brain processes and responds to sexual experiences. From childhood through adulthood, individuals are exposed to societal norms and expectations that shape their understanding of sex, gender roles, and sexual behavior. These cultural factors influence how the brain interprets sexual stimuli and how people engage with sexuality in different contexts. As society becomes more open to diverse expressions of sexuality, the brain's ability to adapt and accept new forms of sexual identity, behavior, and intimacy continues to evolve. In conclusion, the brain's connection to sex is a rich and complex interaction that encompasses a broad range of biological, psychological, and social factors. From regulating sexual arousal and pleasure to influencing sexual identity and relationship dynamics, the brain is at the center of human sexuality. The ongoing exploration of this connection, including advances in neuroscience, psychological research, and societal understanding, continues to enhance our knowledge of how the brain shapes sexual experiences. By understanding the profound impact that the brain has on sex, we can foster healthier, more fulfilling sexual relationships and promote overall well-being.